Morning, Bu Maricha. Welcome.
Oh, yeah. Morning. Good morning, Sir Eddie.
Yeah, morning, Bu.
Yeah. Good
You will,
morning, sir. Yes.
Bu Maricha, you will give the closing statement later.
Now or
No, later for the
later?
closing statement.
Okay, okay, sir. Good morning, Sir Lopez Rodriguez.
Good morning, Pak John Rees, Pak Poster.
Good morning, Pak Edi.
Yeah,
But late.
it's okay.
How many participants now? 27.
Pak Poster also has already been here. Morning, Pak Poster.
Is our keynote speaker already here, Pak Edi?
Yeah, already.
Yes, already, Pak John. He is waiting for us.
Oh, yeah. Hola, Mr. Rodriguez is here.
Bu Maricha, I think you can try to motivate some of our members, ELTA members to join.
I have motivated them, sir. I have already.
Oh, it has been, hello, Prof. Can we start now, Prof? Hello, Prof. Jesus, can we start now? Can you hear me, Prof?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Can we start now, Rob?
Yeah, I can start.
Okay.
If you make me a host, so I can, let me open my PowerPoint presentation, and then
No, we are going to have an opening ceremony first for 5
Okay.
minutes from. Yeah.
okay,
Please,
go ahead.
Jenny.
So let me know.
Jenny, can we start?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining us for today's international webinar and workshop with the theme, the development and the implementations of teaching learning strategy. The webinar today is held by ELTA, English Lecturer Teachers Associations, in collaboration with University of Puerto Rico, Humacao, UPRH. My name is Jenny Jinga, and I will be the master of ceremony today. First of all, I would like to thank the Honorable Professor Dr. Sondang Manik M. Hum as the chairperson of ELTA, but unfortunately, she cannot be here today. The Honorable Mr. John Tampu Bolon as the chairperson of International Webinar Committee and all participants who joins today's webinar. I feel proud to introduce our speaker today, our Honorable guest, Professor Dr. Jesus Lopez Rodriguez from University of Puerto Rico, Humacao. And Professor Jesus will talk about the language portfolio, a valuable tool for English language learners. Okay, this is the agenda for today. I will let everybody see this one. So this is the agenda, the rundown. So it will be opening speech by me. Then we are going to let everyone to sing the national anthem. We're going to pray, led by Mr. Eddie. Welcome speech by the chairperson of International Webinar Committee by Mr. John Tampu Bolon. And we're going to take pictures together, led by Mr. Eddie again. Then we will have the presentation from Professor Dr. Jesus Lopez Rodriguez from University of Puerto Rico, Humacao. Then we will have the question and answer. Then proceed to the closing. So this is the agenda for today. So there will be the sessions for the Q&A after the presentations. So please feel free to ask the question. You can just raise up your hand or type at the chat box. To start our webinar, we would like to sing our national anthem, Indonesia Raya, and all participants are pleased to stand up.
Dari tangan ibu,
Indonesia
aku tanah air, atas kita bersama, Indonesia satu. Satu hidup semuanya bangsa tanahku, negeriku yang ku cinta,
Thank you, everyone. You may sit down. We would like to please Mr. Eddie Suprayatno to lead the prayer before going into the next session.
Okay, thank you, Bu Jenny. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, now let us bow our head for praying, and let me lead the praying based on Muslim. And for those who are not Muslim, you can pray according to your beliefs. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Salatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, our God, today we are conducting an event of international webinar on teaching and learning strategy. Make this event as useful as possible. Assembly as a medium of sharing ideas, knowledge, and experiences among us. May it benefit for our lives, broaden our knowledge, science our ideas, and lead us to be successful, productive people to our nation. Oh Allah, Ya my God, guide and bless our heart and minds with the light of your guidance. Impact your supreme and wisdom during our activities today. Help us to speak out our minds clearly. Help us to listen each other, respect each other, and love each other. Ya Allah, oh my God, protect us from all unintention. Show us the right path and give us knowledge and strength to perform good things, and show us and make it clear the bad things and give us knowledge and strength to avoid them. Ya Allah, oh my God, you are the one who can fulfill all my and our praying. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzaban nar. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Pak Edi. The next agenda will be the welcome speech by the Chairperson of International Webinar Committee, Mr. John Rees Tambubolan. Mr. John Rees, the time and place are yours.
Right, thank you, MC Secretary Jenny. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Greetings to all of you here. And hola, is it morning or in the evening now? There,
Evening in Puerto Rico.
so it's evening in Puerto Rico. So guess Buenos noches. Did I say that right?
Very good, excellent. Buenas noches.
And buenos dias from Indonesia. So it's morning here.
Gracias, gracias.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to our second sessions of international webinar held by ELTA, English Lecturers and Teachers Associations. Yesterday was a great day because we had wonderful sessions with two great speakers and also had great discussions related to the topic presented by our great speakers. And I believe that today is going to be another insightful sessions with our another great speakers from Puerto Rico, Professor Jesus Lopez Rodriguez. I'm sorry, professors, what should I call you anyway?
You can call me Jesus.
Excuse me.
You can call me Jesus Lopez.
Oh, Jesus Lopez.
Yeah.
Jose Lopez. Sorry, Jesus Lopez.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Lopez.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
I just remember that J in Puerto Rico is Spanish. It's spelled with
Sí, that's Spanish. In English, you would say Jesus.
Yes, like Jesus. All right. So we have a very great speakers today from Puerto Rico, Jesus Lopez.
Excellent.
And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to talk a bit about what ELPA is. If you are new, this is your first time joining our event, so ELPA, or English Lecturers Teachers Associations, is actually associations that launched 3 months ago, exactly in August, and it was established and founded by our Ketua Umum, we call it in Bahasa Indonesia, so we can call it in as a president or director in English. But unfortunately, she cannot join our session today. I would like to extend my gratitude to Professor Dr. Sondang Manik, wherever you are, stay blessed there. And also, again, I would like to extend my gratitude to our great speakers today, Jesus Lopez Rodriguez. And ladies and gentlemen, as a part of organizations, I feel so proud because we, as an organizations, as ELPA member, here is not only doing our thing as a teacher, as a lecturer, but we also doing our thing beyond that. The purpose of this organization is actually to give more, to contribute more to the society, especially in education field, or let's say teaching, learning, and English teaching and learning. So as a part of that vision, to fulfill the visions of ELPA, to give more, to contribute more to the educations, especially in terms of teaching and learning English. So we are trying to hold event by event, and this is our second event, and also our first international event with the theme, the development and implementations of teaching strategy. And we hope that by conducting and also by attending this event, every one of us here who's present in these sessions will get the insightful ideas. We can broaden our horizons. We can enhance our understandings towards the teaching strategy. So it will help us, in the hope, of course, it will help us deal with our classes, especially during this pandemic. We all need something new to conduct in our classes, because we have to adapt to the changes. All the conventional ways, or all the old ways that we used to conduct in our classes when it is on site, is going to be different with in online classes. So I hope that with the sessions with Professor Jesus Lopez will give us new insight about strategy in teaching and implementing our teaching in our classes. So, ladies and gentlemen, after these sessions, there will be also TOEFL tryout sessions, and I hope that those who attend these sessions can also attend our TOEFL tryout sessions in the afternoon. And we are going to meet later again at 2 until 4 in the afternoon for our TOEFL sessions. But I hope that for these sessions, it will be running well, and it will give us of course, it will give us a lot of benefits. I think that's all from me as the welcoming speech. Thank you once again, and I'll give the floor back to our MC, Jenny Jingga.
Thank you, Mr. John Reyes. So before we go to the presentation from the keynote speaker, we would like to take picture. Please turn on your camera. Mr. Eddie will help us to take picture.
Sorry, everybody, would you please to turn on your webcam? 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me share. Second. Okay. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay, Bu Jenny, finish.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Eddie. To shorten the time, we would like to please our first keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Jesus Lopez Rodriguez from the University Puerto Rico, Humacao, to deliver the presentation. It will be led by our moderator, Mr. Eddie Suprayatno. Mr. Eddie, the time and place are yours.
Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now we come to the events of presentation from Professor Dr. Jesus Lopez. Before his presentation, I would like to introduce him in short. He's a lecturer in University of Puerto Rico. He's also an interpreter, as well as also a motivator of English learning strategy. Well, now we come to the presentation. Times is yours, Prof. Yeah, can you do your presentation, Prof?
Okay, let me,
Okay, done, Prof.
can you see it now?
Yeah. Okay, done, Prof.
Yes, Prof. We can see.
Okay, hold on, let me see. Okay, can you see it now?
Yeah, we can see, Prof.
Okay, you see the PowerPoint? Can I?
Yes, we can, Prof.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so good morning, people, right? I am Dr. Jesus Lopez, professor from the University of Puerto Rico in Humacao. For us in Puerto Rico right now, it's evening. So if some of my students are watching, I know that it's late. We are going to give you some ideas. Basically, what I'm going to do is going to take like 20 minutes. I want to show you what we have done in Puerto Rico because we are all suffering from a pandemic, right? And we have to adapt our teaching to the new world situations that we are having. So, let me show you where Puerto Rico is. Because this is important. Puerto Rico is an island in the Caribbean. So one of the things that I like you to see that Puerto Rico is an incorporated territory of the United States. That means that it's a colony of the United States. So even though Puerto Rico, the national language is Spanish, it has a second language as English, right? So in courts, right, official language is conducted in English, but the language in school is Spanish. So you can see here a beautiful picture from El Morro, the central capital of Puerto Rico, San Juan. We are celebrating 500 years of from the colonization from the Spaniards. So it's a beautiful island, and it's even called the Enchanted Island. Okay, this is where I work. Is Recinto de Humacao, Universidad de Puerto Rico, University of Puerto Rico. It's a public university. This is the public university of Puerto Rico. It has 11 campus. So I am in one of the campus in the east part of the island. So, but it's one university, 11 campuses. Okay, so as you see here, it's a very small university. We only have around 4,000 students, and that's not a lot. And we serve students from an impoverished area in the east part of Puerto Rico. This is a picture. Basically, I am a professor that teach the basic courses in English. So when students graduate from from high school, they go into the university, and this is the type of students, right, that we have. If you notice this picture, one of the things that I want you to notice, right, is that the use of technology, right? So when we get this type of students, the first thing is that comes to your mind is, how are you going to teach these students? Okay, because sometimes the old method do not work. Okay, so we get this type of students, how you get them interested in learning English. And the answer for that, at least for my classes, is trying to weave some storytelling into my lessons. So for me, one of the first strategies when you're trying to teach English is trying to incorporate stories that students would like into the classes. So that's very important. So you have to be very careful when you choose your text, because if you have texts that are modern, texts that are telling stories that students want to hear, probably you're going to get a lot more success teaching these type of students, right? So the next strategy that I use, especially now with the pandemic, for example, right now in Puerto Rico, all classes are being done online. So that means that I don't meet my students. Basically, we meet twice a week online, and all the classes, all the teaching is done through Zoom. So one of the strategies that that have worked for me is using ePortfolio. Okay, I'm going to explain it very quickly, but let me show you if you want to use ePortfolio, the stages, the parts that you have to put into place so you can make this successful. For example, you have to plan how you're going to do it. Then after you plan, set up a portfolio for the students to work with. Students have to collect their own work. When you have the students' work, then you have to assess those students. You have to see what they're doing, okay, how they're doing it. And then you have to connect with those students to give them feedback. And I'm going to show you how I do it with my portfolio. And then students have to reflect. I tell my students that you don't learn something unless you reflect upon it, because sometimes you make the same mistake all over again. So you're not learning. If you make a mistake and you make the same mistake again, you're not learning. The way that learners learn is by reflecting on their mistakes. So that's very important. You have to incorporate some type of reflection from the students so they can learn from their mistakes. So let's begin and answering some important questions. The first questions that you might have is the following. What is the purpose of a student portfolio? The purpose, remember, this is an electronic portfolio. There's no paper involved. I don't know how difficult it is for your students to connect with the internet, but given the pandemic, most students have to, right now in Puerto Rico, do it through the internet. So they prepare an electronic portfolio. What is an electronic portfolio? It's a purposeful, take a look, right? The adjective here, it has a purpose, okay, of students' work, sample of students' work, demonstration, artifacts that show if students are learning. Another thing that I tell my student is that a test does not prove that you have learned something. The only way that you learn something is by doing it. I tell my students that learning English is like swimming. You don't learn to swim by sitting down and watching your professor doing it or watching your classmate doing it. You have to get into the water. That means that to be an excellent student, you have to do this thing, one thing: practice, 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 and practice. Without practice, they'll never get better. Okay? And they have to show, this is very important, evidence of what students can do. For example, in my university, we are accredited from the United States. So our university is accredited. So sometimes they come to Puerto Rico and they ask us, show me what students are doing. So with a portfolio, I can show you, like I'm going to show you now, or I can show external people that want to see what our students are doing with the portfolio. Okay, so let's continue. And are e-portfolio useful? Okay, and the answer is yes. Why? Because it helps the learner develop, this is the important thing, deeper learning. Okay, deeper learning. Now you know that the students have learned. Why? Because you watch them doing videos. You watch them, with tapes. You watch how they write. You watch them how they use technology. So it's not just exam. It's not just taking an exam. It's just seeing them practicing the language. And also, this is excellent for applying for a job. I tell my students, when you go to a job, at least in Puerto Rico, they ask you basically one important question. Are you fluent in English? And if you say yes, now you can say, I will show you. And then with your resume, you can send an employer your resume, and they can see evidence of your improvement. They see evidence of how much English you have learned. So this is also very important, not only for schools, but also for employers. The next question that we might have is, what value do portfolio bring to students? Right? So it says it's a rich source for students and faculty to learn, because they can then make connections with the curriculum, and then they can show improvement, and then they develop their identity as learners or facilitators of learning, right? So also this is very important again. Okay, now the idea of the teacher is changing because information is in the internet. Sometimes they can find good information, even better than the one that we can give them. So now professors, teachers are not teachers. They should be facilitators, okay? Learning facilitators. I tell my students, listen, this is a very good idea, okay? Go to the internet, find good information, because sometimes I'm not going to be there. So they have to take their learning upon themselves and be active learners, not passive learners. What are the purposes of using a portfolio in the classroom as assessment? Most teachers in many schools, they use only exams as assessment. But also, right, you can use a portfolio, because with a portfolio, you have a real performance of the students. And also they can see their weak and strong points, their domain. And then also they can see their progress, okay? And then it encourages students to take responsibility for their own learning. So that's also very important. So students have to see themselves as active learners, not passive, that they're going to receive everything from the professor. So right now I'm going to be, okay, this is a photo of my last group before the pandemic. So it is very dynamic, right? We can take pictures, right? We make it very personal. So let me take you through the setup so you can see an example. The best way that you can see what I'm doing is to see an example of a student portfolio. And I'm going to be commenting on the portfolio. Okay, so take a look. This is a portfolio from one of my students, right? So take a look. This is created by the students. Okay, this is, okay, they have to choose, okay, their template. They have to be creative. So Alanis is one of my students right now. This is the front page of the portfolio that she's using. So take a look here, right? On top here, you have the pages that they have to create. So they can put information in there. So they're basically 4 pages that I use. About me, where they share information about them as students, the assignments that they're doing, so I can look at their assignments, the resources, the extra resources that they're looking in the internet, not the resources I give them, the resources that they're looking for themselves. Collaboration. I want to see how they are collaborating with each other in groups. I put them in groups and then they have to collaborate and I have to check how they are collaborating. They do a final project in groups. Okay, a research project, a small research project that I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you later on. And then also you have here extra credit, right? Extra credit. So if they need extra points, they can do a special project if they want to, okay? Also right here, they have the best work. So they have to tell me at the end their best work and why is their best work, and the oral reflection. They have to reflect on what they're doing. So I'm going to show you very quickly. This is, for example, the assignments that they do. They put all the assignments in the portfolio. I can log on, look at their assignments, and then look at the bottom here. There's a chat that I can look at their work and say, wonderful work. Okay, but why don't you try this? So I give them feedback right away, and all the work is in one place, not in emails, but in one place. I can see everything that they're doing, and I can give them feedback. These are the collaboration. Take a look here, right? That this is a page that they create, and they're very creative. They start, right? Take a look here. She belongs to group number 9, and here is where I see the collaboration. So let me show you. Okay, okay. Let me go back, right? So they use this application that is called Padlet. I'm going to show you. Okay, these are the learning resources. This is where they put, okay, or the extra resources that they're learning from the unit. Take a look here. This is the unit that we are covering, and they look for extra resources in the internet. For example, this is an example of collaboration. Take a look here, right? So this first unit is about the world. And I tell them, okay, do you know how many people are in Puerto Rico? Okay, find out, go to the internet, find out, and then discuss this with your classmate. And this is their discussions. So take a look. They discuss in groups each unit, unit 1, unit 2, and if they have questions and doubts, they can write it right here. So they can help each other. not only the professor. Okay, these are the reflections. If you see here, these are MP4, MP3 or MP4 files. That means that I can hear them speaking in the language. So the only thing that I have to do is click here, and then an application will open, and I can hear the reflecting about how they're doing in the class, the problems they are having. When I watch the reflection, then I can go to the chat, and then I can give them suggestions. This is their final work. This is a research project. Take a look. They do a proposal, and the project that I work with my students, because this is very important, are the Sustainable Development Goal. Also, those are the SDGs. So these are the 17 goals that the United Nations decided that most countries said that they want to achieve for 2030. So what we do is that they choose one goal for Puerto Rico, probably is end hunger, or work with education, work with poverty, work with life in the sea. Okay, so there are many projects that they can do. So they work in groups. They do some research. Take a look. These are the 17 goals that they can choose. Poverty, it has to do with Puerto Rico. So they have to do research. So they have to go find information about how to end poverty in Puerto Rico, how to improve health, quality education. So they can choose their interest, they can do research, and then they go back to the classroom, and then they inform their classmates. And then I give them extra credits, right? Extra credits. For example, right now we are Christmas times in Puerto Rico. And then I say, okay, so do a video about your town, tape your town, Christmas decoration, and tell everybody about how you celebrate Christmas in your town. And then they do a short video, 2 or 3 minutes, and then I can show to the world if they give me permission. If it's very good, I said, okay, this is excellent. We can put it on YouTube, and everybody can watch about Christmas in Puerto Rico, what we eat, how we celebrate. Okay, so this is the type of work that I give them. So take a look also. I contact my students through Facebook. So I use Facebook as a tool, as a educational tool to keep in contact with my students. Why? Because my students, it's easier for them, quicker to see me in Facebook than to wait for an email from me. So if it is Facebook and they have their phone, they will notice that I put something on. So this is very important for me. Of course, this group are closed. So for protection of my students, all my groups are closed. So these are the tools very quickly, because I just want to give you like a little taste, like a buffet of the type of tools that we use in our class. And I'm going to tell you which one I use and how I use them very quickly. The first one is the portfolio. We create the portfolio in weeks. This is the type of portfolio. And take a look that this is a very clean template. They choose a template, and this is very easy to use. They only have to change their name, okay, create the pages, and put the information related to them. But it's very easy, very friendly to use. You don't need a lot of computer expertise to set up your portfolio. So they start with Wix. Then I use Padlet for communication purposes, right? To create little groups. They create an account in Padlet, and then they can collaborate. The other one that I use is SoundCloud. SoundCloud is for them to make recordings of their oral Okay, so when they are reflecting, what they do is they go to SoundCloud, they tape themselves, and then they send me the link. They put it in their portfolio, and I listen to their English, and then I said, okay, wonderful. Next time, try to pronounce this way. So it gives me an idea how their English is progressing, how good their English is, right? And I can give them suggestions right away. The other one that I use that probably I like it very much is VoiceThread. This is where they put their final project. This is good because I can share a link to you, to anybody, to a professor, and they can give them feedback. Okay, I watched your video, I liked it very much. All right, so this is like a conversation. So I can send this to anybody and they can give them feedback on what they're doing. So feedback, as you see, is very important. They have to know if they're doing it right and what can they do to get better. Without feedback, you don't improve because you don't know if you're doing it correctly. So you need two things. Remember this: practice, practice, practice. And you need feedback from your professor. You need feedback from your students. You need feedback from people who are using the language. You need feedback from students from other part of the United States and Puerto Rico, because everybody have different accents and you have to get used to the accents of the world, right? Because you never know who are you going to meet, right? For example, you meeting me for the first time, and I have probably a very different accent that you're used to, but you have to get used to, right? Because you can encounter a Puerto Rican, you can encounter an American, and then you have to get used to the sounds, how they sound. So feedback is very important. Okay, Pinterest is very popular, but I use it for educational purpose. This is where they put their resources. If they find something interesting in the internet related to the units that we're covering, they put it in Pinterest. And since I can go into their Pinterest, I can see resources. This is what is called curate, okay? To curate a topic. Curate a topic means to find the best resources available and to show it to people. So if I want to, let's say I want to know about Thailand, and I go in the internet and I find a good video that shows me about your culture. So I put it in there and I say, oh, this is a wonderful video. The next time I'm going to use it with my student. So they're helping me at the same time to get better, okay? So they're doing me a favor by curating the topic. And basically, I'm almost done. So basically, my questions to you, are you an extreme learner? Take a look, right? The word here, an extreme learner, okay? And my suggestions to you that now in the 21st century, you have to be an extreme learner. You cannot wait for your professor. You cannot wait because there's a ton of information in the internet. You have to connect with people from Thailand, people from Puerto Rico, people from the United States, okay? And an extreme learner is very proactive. It's not passive, waiting for people to give them everything. So this is what I mean by an extreme learner. I encourage you, even the professors here, to be an extreme learner. Learn all the time. Learn from everybody, okay? This is me, okay? Connecting with my students and also connecting with an international group that I have in Facebook. And I also encourage you to join my English 80/20 group in Facebook. It's a closed group, okay, but send me an invitation and I will let you into the group where I put a lot of information about learning English. So as you see here, English 8020 is an international group of students and teachers eager to improve their English communication and also in defense of the environment. Okay, this was created in 2017. Okay, and this is one of my favorite phrases from Star Wars. May the force be with you, people. And this is a picture also. I'm also starting to work with games. This is a presentation that we did in Puerto Rico Comic-Con using games to learn English. These are the sites that I use for some of my images. And thank you very much. I hope I gave you some ideas how you can incorporate some ideas into your classroom, and also to the students, how can they be extreme learners and create a portfolio where you can show your work. So thank you very much, everybody, for having me. It was a pleasure.
Well, thank you very much, Professor. It's a very great and brilliant presentation of yours. And before the session of question and answer, I would like to take a conclusion that actually the main core of your presentation is about how important is electronic portfolio bring the English students when they are going to learn English as well. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, and all the participants of the webinar, we would like to invite some question and answer. Maybe for the first session, we would like to invite 2 questions from you before we come to the second question. Please, time is yours. Okay, everybody, if you have any question, would you please to raise your hand? And then after that, introduce your name maybe and your institution and your questions. Okay, is there any question, please? Yeah, John Rhys, maybe you have a question, Pak?
Right, thank you, Paidi. So thank you,
Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. Lopez, for the great presentations. And I have to be honest that all of the platforms, tools you were showing just now are new for me, and especially that I have heard that anyway, but I've never used that in my class. That word, I mean, the applications Padlet. So is that right, Padlet, Professor?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
Padlet.
I'm actually wondering, is that an application that the students must install on their devices, like on the laptop or on their mobile phone? I mean, how does it work? I mean, how should the students and how should the teachers apply that in our classes? Please.
Usually, all the applications that I show, first they're free, so you don't have to pay for them. And if you want more features, then you pay. But usually, all of them are free. So Padlet, for example, as you say, most of them have phone applications, right? So they can do it from their phone. All of them have. They don't need probably a computer. They probably can work everything with their phone. So that's also an advantage. One of the things, for example, that I try is to keep everything private. If I use Facebook, for example, their close group, for example, if they're a portfolio, the students are in control of their portfolio. I don't control it, right? So, for example, the students own the portfolio. So I just tell them, just have it there until I give you a grade, and then you can do whatever you want with your portfolio because it's their portfolio. But if they apply themselves, they can use that portfolio to show to an employer in the future. If an employer wants to see their English skills, he can say, "Oh, that's good. I have a portfolio, an English portfolio. I'll send you my portfolio so you can see it." So this is a great tool because it gives them students power. Okay, they are in charge of their education, and this is very important, right? As I said before in my presentation, we have this shift now that professors, teachers are facilitators. We make learning easier because there's a lot of information there that probably the students can look at, right? So I hope that answered your questions.
Yes, it is. It does. Prof. Thank you. But I have another questions actually. When giving the feedback or also the rate for those students' works, especially their portfolios, do you give it through that Padlet as well? I mean, can everyone in your class see the feedback for each individual? Or only those who, I mean, yes, just each student, only each student has a chance, has the access to see their own feedbacks.
Well, I encourage my students to be open. Okay, it might be different, in some society, some countries, but I tell my students, because this is part of their training, I said, listen, be open about it, because in the sense that show your work. Okay, don't say, okay, this is my work, I don't want anybody to see it. Show your work, right? So I encourage my students to make it public, okay? Because then it's a problem, because if it is not public, then you need a password, and then it have no mobility. So if people are going to see it and they're going to comment on it, I tell them to make it public. But it's their decision. The more you close, remember, if you put a wall, you fence yourself in, right? If you have a wall, you're closed and they're closed. But if you open the walls, everybody, okay. But also you have to be careful. I teach them that, right? I teach them how to use the internet, what type of photos they should use, okay? Because this is part of their training. They're young people, and we have to teach them that. But I encourage them to be open about it. So far, I have no problems with that. Okay, and if I see something, then I'll intervene very quickly.
Okay. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, enough, Pak Joris. Okay, thank you very much, Prof, for your answer. Well, would like to invite one more participants, yeah, to have a question, because it's already late at night, yeah, with Professor Jesus. It's already 10:27, yeah.
Don't worry for me. Don't worry.
Yeah. Excuse me, Mr.
Yeah,
Eddie.
please. Okay, yeah, go with it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for giving me this time. Hola, Prof. Jesus.
Hola, hola, ¿cómo estás?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah. My husband was an ex-cruise ship, and he's been to your country many times.
He's been to San Juan. That's what he told me. My
Okay.
husband. Yeah, but I've never
Okay.
been there. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for your insightful presentation, Mr. Prof. Jesus. I'm also an English teacher and I've been teaching for years as well. I had experience also to teach in Africa a long time ago. So I stayed in Tanzania for a year in 2008 until 2009. So I think teaching language, it's not only English, I mean, it's really challenge, right? Especially at these times also, young people more interest to their gadget than learning. So as you informed in your presentation that you applied the e-portfolio, do you think this project is also suitable for the whole level of the students? I mean, what about the young learners such as in our country, we call it primary school, started from 6 to 12 years old. Do you agree if we apply this project to that kind of age? That's my first question. And the second one, when you give the assignment to your students, you said that you asked them to have group discussions, and then yeah, you would like to see how they discuss and do the project together. So after they finish the project, how would you evaluate the students' group discussion result? And what point that would you like to evaluate from that result? Thank you so much, Prof. Jesus. That's all my
Okay.
question. Thank you, Sir Eddie.
Okay. Those
Okay,
are
welcome.
wonderful. Those are wonderful questions, right? So let me answer the first one. Young
Yes.
learners, right?
Right.
This is a bit challenging because I do not know the level of use of technology of your country right now. And maybe you have some policy that restrict, like it happens in other countries, that restrict technology use in the classroom. For example, in some countries, they don't allow students to use phones in their classroom. So it could change. So probably, as I said, remember, my students are university students, first year university students. So basically their age is 17, 18 years old. So probably I will not use all of those type of application for younger learners, but there's some that you can apply to younger learners, right? I have no experience using teaching young learners, but you can adapt some of them to young learners, maybe with storytelling, so they can probably read a story, okay, and do a short presentation with video. Okay, remember, related to their age. The second question, right? Can you remind me of the second question, please?
Yeah, as you said before, that you will give your students like task or assignment to do, and to do it in a group, because you would like to see how they do it in how they finish the project in a group, right? So after they finish the project, how would you evaluate the students' result? And
Okay.
I mean, what points?
Okay, the way that I do it is the following, right? So remember, they have to do three things. This is a project that they do with three people. The idea behind this is that they work in groups. For example, right now in the world, you don't work alone. You have to work with different people. Probably, like we're doing right now, I'm in contact with you right now. So probably in the future, when they are professional, they will have to work with somebody in another country. So they have to learn that, right? So how to work together, how to do projects together. And then, so they have to do a proposal. So I know that they have the right idea. So I have to approve the proposal. Then they have to do a writing together. They have to do like a type of essay writing, and then they have to present that oral presentation within the group. So what I do is the oral presentation is individually. So what I do is I hear them and then I give them points. We have a rubric. Rubric are excellent. So because they have criteria and they go, and I go by criteria. So I'm looking for something. For example, is a pronunciation clear? Okay, is not clear, 1 point. Is more or less clear, 2 points. Very clear, 3 points. Excellent, almost 4 points, right? So I have some criteria that I'm looking for, and then I assign them points, and then from that I can give them points. So the writing is the same. So if they're writing an essay, I'll tell them, okay, do they have a main idea? No main idea. Okay, 0. Main idea is confusing. Okay, so I'm looking for some criteria. How is their grammar? Some mistake, no mistake. Okay, how is their examples? How is their research? Okay, so the best way to do that is to have a rubric. So the students are clear. This is very important that you give to students the rubric before the work. So they have to know how you're going to evaluate them. Because if you don't know how somebody is going to evaluate them, how do you know that I have done it correctly? So use rubric for both, okay, the writing and also for the oral presentation. This is basically what I do.
Thank you so much, Prof. Jesus.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Wiwi, for your question. Well, ladies and gentlemen, and all the participants, I think we would like to invite 2 more questions here for the second session. Please try to raise your hand and then introduce your name, maybe what institution are you from, and then your questions. Please. Yeah, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you have any questions. Okay, Prof, maybe if some participants want to write you a question, so how should they write? Maybe do you have email or maybe a kinds of connections from?
Okay, I'm going to, one way that you can reach me, my suggestion is that you become part of, I'm going to write it in the chat right now. You can go to Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the group is called
20 and 19.
English, okay, 80/20, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
Because I have already been the member of that Facebook.
Okay, and you can write me there. Also, I can give you my email address at the university.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to be the chat. So if you can, okay, if you want, you can write me also there. Okay, Jesus Lopez to upr.edu. This is more formal. So if you want something more formal, you do it with my school address. If you want information and resources that I use, that I share with my students and with the group, you can become a member of English 80/20.
Okay, Prof. One more thing is that does your campus has a journal publication, Prof?
Excuse me. Say it again, Eddie.
Yeah, sorry, because we are as an English lecturer here in Indonesia that we have kind of obligations to write journal publications. Maybe is it
Okay.
possible if we write in your campus, Prof?
Okay,
And
yeah,
publish
well,
the-
now that you said it, right? I am a member of the magazine. Well, it's not a magazine, a journal of the University of Puerto Rico, right? So if some of you want to submit, I'm going to share that information with you. If some of you want to submit a research work on English, right?
Yeah.
You can do it. I'm going to share that information with you probably, and then we can do it with the rest. But we do have a journal at the university, and if you want to submit a paper or your research, you can send it to me, because I'm part of the committee that is reviewing the work that is being submitted to the university.
Okay, Prof. Thank you. Should we pay for the publications, or is it free, Prof?
No, right now, no, it is free. You can send me, usually what we do is that when we finish and we put it electronic, after we present it to the community, like 1 or 2 months after it, we present it electronically, and then you can access the journal through the internet with you don't have to pay anything.
Okay, thank you, Prof. I think that's all for this session. And I would like to inform you from later on, the appreciation certificate link will be sent to you after this. And thank you very much for all a very beneficial insight of your sharing sessions today. And now I give back to Jenny. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, Mr. Adi. Thank you, Professor Jesus Lopez. And then it's really actually a great presentations that we learn something which is really different. We might not know about that some of the Padlet, Wix, or the Bootstrap, which is really useful to support our learning actually. And then now by presentations of the purpose of the e-portfolio, I think that maybe we can just try our best also to support those young learners by using this, same like what you did to your students too. And then one thing that's really actually really affect me, like you are learning English is not only like practice, but you need practice and feedback. So usually what in our mind is only practice. Okay, you want to have good English, you want to speak fluently, you only practice. But one thing, there will be feedback, which is, I think I agree with you. So it's not only the practice, but feedback actually is really, really important to support how we're going to have our good English in the future. So thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the audience. I think the time is over. Then we're going to close this webinar. Thank you for your time. And then this is your, yes.
From Ibu Maricha, I think.
Yes, we are going to have like closing statement from Ibu Maricha to end the webinar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to the keynote speaker, to the Jesus Lopez Rodriguez, Puerto Rico. Thank you for all things. We get something new. Thank you. And thank for all the committee who have worked hard to do this webinar. And thank you for all the participants who has already joined to this webinar. I believe that all of you get something from this webinar. Okay, thank you, Professor. Thank you for all the participants here. Okay, see you for the next event.
Thank you for having me, people.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. See you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Yeah, see you. I'll contact you as soon as possible, Prof. I will send you the link of your appreciation certificate by email. Okay. And then probably I'm going to send you my paper letter to be published at your campus.
Charger.
Yeah. Okay, Prof. I think you can left first because it's already late at night.
Okay.
Thank you
So
for everything.
thank you for having me and have a nice day. Right
Have a
now,
nice
I'm
day
going
and
to
good
bed.
night.
I'm going to bed now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, for all the participants, maybe I'd like to inform you, for those who haven't registered yet in this webinar, either it is today or yesterday, if you are interested to the certificate, so please contact us in person, because the link we cannot share today just because of the requirements. If you want to get the certificate, actually that you have to register and pay their contributions. For the ALTAS member, it is 25,000, and for the students it is 35, and for outsider is 50,000. So I think that everybody can contact the managements of ELTA for their certificates, and we are going to send you the link in person, and the certificate will be sent automatically on your email. I think that's all that I can tell you. And after this, that John List maybe would like to inform some activities in the afternoon about the TOEFL test preparation. Please, Pak John List. Pak John List, are you still here?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Pak Didi.
Yeah.
Those who are also taking TOEFL prediction test this afternoon, I just want to remind everyone to prepare all the stuff you need, like your laptop and also headset or earphone for a better listening quality if you have it. So please prepare it as well. And also the internet, stable internet connections, that's the most important one. And the last one is actually the room that is convenient for you to do the test during the test. I think
Okay,
that's
Pak John, do you have the Zoom link special for the TOEFL test, or maybe you need ours, you need LPAS, so that I can send you the password, the username and password.
Yeah, Pak.
Because so sorry, Pak, I cannot join because I have something to do in the afternoon.
Yeah, just send me the email and also the password later so I can log in to do that.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you, everybody. All the participants of TOEFL test, do you have any question? If no question, I think that we have to close now. One more thing, I'd like to inform that for those who are LTAS member, if you haven't registered yet and you need the certificate, please you register and then just contact us in person. So we are going to send you the link. Thank you very much for all. I think that we have to stop now. So have a nice weekend for all. Enjoy your time, enjoy your holiday time. Thank you very much, everybody. See you next time.
See you. Thank you, Sir Eddie.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sir John, please.
Thank you, everyone.